Hey guys, I think I did a video on this a while back. I can't remember, but for all you new people, this will be new. I wanted to talk about why we can never pay off the national debt. And it's so easy to understand, okay? When you take out a loan, okay, for a house, for a car, okay, you may have more money saved than the car is actually worth. So you could pay it off if you were so inclined, or you can make payments. In fact, that's kind of how the rich people get super low interest rates, because they go in and they say, look, I've got $500 million in the bank. You know, I'd rather not spend $40 million on a house, but I will unless you give me a low interest rate. That way the banks and the people get happy. Okay? So imagine for a second that you don't have that opportunity because you're taking it out of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is printing it out of thin air. So understand this. And it's really easy to understand. If the government takes out $1 trillion from the Federal Reserve, that comes with interest. Okay? There is no greater Federal Reserve that you can take out to pay off that original loan. The Federal Reserve, that's it. Okay? There is no more money. Okay? So, you take out $1 trillion, and then you have interest on it. Well, how do you pay the interest? How do you make payments? You have to take more money out. Okay? So basically, if I take $1 out of a bank and they charge me $1.08, or they charge me 8 cents interest, where am I getting the 8 cents to pay it off? I'd have to take out more money to pay off the initial one. And that's the scam they have going. That is the scam they have going. Andrew Jackson famously said, I killed the banks, because he did. He ran out the central banks out of the country. They would be mortified to see what happened right now. And this goes for every country too. Now, when they're talking about lowering the deficit, okay, I'm going to make that make sense for you. Okay? Lowering the deficit actually doesn't do shit. Okay? It's just a nice talking point that the presidents like to say. Okay? If I have a credit card and I put $3,000 on it, and then the next year I put $2,000 on it, I have effectively lowered the deficit by $1,000. You see how that works? That's all there really is to it. You have to understand is that the only way to physically pay off the interest on the central banks and the Rothschilds, Federal Reserve and central banks, okay, is to generate wealth, okay? That's why your birth certificate is on the New York Stock Exchange, because you are worth a lot of money, okay? Because they look at you, they see the situation that you were born into, and they decide based on that how much money you'll generate for people. When you get your education, how much money you'll generate for people. Okay, that's why they have to tax you, okay? Because taxes go to pay it. Now, the Federal Reserve, we owe about $30 trillion. I'm just going to round it off. We owe about $30 trillion, okay? Now, we owe about $30 trillion, okay? I forgot what I was going to say for a sec. Damn it. Anyway, that was it. The interest alone on the Federal Reserve debt is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of $1 billion a year. And when they're talking about the government pays its bills, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about just covering the interest. Okay? That's what they're doing. Because if you can't cover the interest, that's when regime change happen. That's when the news comes out and starts talking down to you, talking bad about you, okay? The only reason the U.S. economy is afloat is because we still trade oil with the dollar, the petrodollar, okay? The dollar is no longer backed by gold, okay? Now, some countries are trying to trade in gold now, and you'll see when they come out and try and do that, that's when regime change happens. That's what happened to Gaddafi. That's what happened to Saddam Hussein. They were like, fuck the dollar. I'm going to start trading in gold. They don't like that, okay? Also, the United States is a corporation, okay? Think about it. We have a president, a vice president, we have secretaries. Now, who else has that? Companies. The United States is a corporation, I believe, since 1871, but it may be even further back than that. Okay, look into the Virginia Company. So just a little bit of information that I wanted to share with you guys, just to explain. We will never pay the national debt off. That will never happen. It doesn't matter who you elect in, because you physically can't. The system is set to collapse. And when it does collapse, that's why they're trying to get a hold of crypto right now. They're trying to get a hold of crypto because they know that's going to be the next digital currency. Okay? They're trying to do social credit scores, and they're trying to take over the crypto market and regulate it. Because the dollar it's not just the dollar. These Federal Reserve systems, there's only a handful of countries that don't have Federal Reserve banks. And if you look at the list, conveniently, they're the ones that the news talks shit about. Okay? So we will never pay this debt off. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you, that it doesn't matter who you put in there. And also when they talk about lowering the deficit, it's just a play on words for stupidity.